Hi guys, welcome back to yet another review. This time around I'm bringing you the HiDIZS MK10, the Arc Sonic. This is the latest single DD IEM from HiDIZS. It's using a 10mm silicon carbide diaphragm driver, to a certain extent similar to the driver used in the MK12 Tourist. With which it also shares at least the same philosophy in terms of tuning, which is take a good high quality driver, stick it into a properly designed shell, and make sure that it's tuned well and it plays well above its price point. And much like the MK12, which I'm going to be bold and I'm going to say I think it's an IM which is in every way and manner as good as something like the MIM Dark Magician. End of story. That's my opinion. It's an IM that deserves as much merit as the Dark Magician, definitely without question. You know, the MK10 is definitely going to be one of the top contenders in the under $100 price point. I mean, we've got phenomenal IMs in that price point: the Puller Unicrom, the Keyfine Delchi AE, the NFX RG15. The M1 from Tipsy, the SimGot EA500 LM, the IVipQ. We've got a lot of really good $100 and below priced IEMs. The Tanstrom, the Fission, it's almost the same price point as well. So we've got a lot of really good IEMs under that price point. It's a very competitive price point, and I'm glad that HiDIZS again did their homework and again made sure that what they launched was just not a putting of together of parts and throwing it in the shell and the hell with the market, they will accept whatever we throw at them. No, you can definitely see that they took the time to study the market, study what is available, and make sure that what is launched is something which is being properly designed. And without question, the MK10 has got those qualities. This is the box, very simple. They didn't really spend money where it's not necessary to. I mean, yes, we could have gotten a nicer case and so on. I mean, we don't. We get a simple pouch. As you can see, the cable as well is a basic cable, but we end up swapping the cable and all of that, so I'm not really going to make too much of a hoo-ha about that. Where it does count, which is the build quality is top-notch, the IM inside, the driver inside is top notch. I used the original tips for a bit. They worked okay, it wasn't bad. And then they've got, like I said, the exchangeable nozzles with the red O-ring, a black O-ring, a red, and a white O-ring. The black is the stock one, which is the one that I've got on there. But then I opted for the KB07 tips. What can I say about the MK10? And I've just brought out two other things to position it and not to compare per se the MK10. And these two IMs are two IMs, one which is one of the better sub $100 price IMs single LEDs, which is the SimGot, the EA500 LM, definitely one of the best ones under that price point. And the other one is an IM which, funny enough, shares a lot of the same tuning style, which is the nice HK, the Himalaya. Obviously priced significantly higher. I mean, this is more than twice the price. So I thought this would be interesting to just bring out these two, not as a comparison, but as a positioning of where the MK10 stands. If you then, guys, want me to compare the MK10 with other IMs, I'll be glad to do that. You just let me know what exactly you want me to compare it to, and I'll be more than willing to and more than happy to, compare if I do have those IMs. So I'm using a TRI cable, as you can see here. All right, I didn't use a stock cable. The shells are nice, solid shells. It's got that kind of solid feel that HiDIZS has made us acquainted to. MP145, MP143, the Tourist, they all got that nice shell. I love the shell. It's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, I'm not gonna deny, but it looks, it looks the part, looks the business. This ear hook of the cable is a little bit on the tight side. I'm actually going to remove the actual plastic to make it sit nicely, but it's fine. 2-pin connector. I'm using the KB07 tips, like I said. Nothing to be said in terms of its fit, ergonomics, how it's the cable that actually is hindering you a little bit, because with the stock cable there's not an issue. Although it's a little bit slightly bigger than usual IM and heavy and so on, it sits perfectly. My ears, no complaints. The KB ears, do they work? Nothing. I mean, trust me, when I say this is a solid IM that looks the part and significantly more expensive than what it costs, that's done. Now, in terms of tuning, like I said, we've got 3 tuning nozzles. They are using a tuning which kind of makes the pin again peak a little bit earlier in the red and in the black and in the red nozzle. And in the white nozzle, it peaks a little bit later but peaks higher. Okay. Between the black and the red nozzle, there isn't much difference. There's a peak, the first initial peak after the pin again is at around 2.2K, then it peaks again at part 5, and then we got a couple of related peak and drops off. The white nozzle, the white O-ring nozzle peaks at about 2.5, 2.6, then peaks again at about 2.5, the 8K peak, and a little bit more extension up top, and then that's it. But the difference between the red and the black is negligible, okay? So much so that I actually even took one of those nozzles and I retuned it into my own style, but I'm not going to be talking about that, okay? I just gave it a little slight, very mild retune, which I think would have been nice if they actually would have contemplated that retune, mind you. I won't deny it. But what I'm going to be telling you and comparing with the other two is with the black, which is, look, black and red, with my unit at least, it's the same. The white, it's got a little extra energy, which I guess might be interesting for those that are wanting a little bit more details up top, although I never found it to be lacking in any sort of details with the red or with the black anyway. And to my personal liking, it's just a little bit overly energetic, and especially at 5K peak starts becoming a little bit too prominent for me, for myself. Anyway, with regards to bass, it's clean, it's detailed, it's impactful, it's got that nice weight. You can feel it's a quality bass. It hits hard, cleans up, doesn't linger, doesn't carry on there going for, no. Beautiful bass, nice transition into the mid bass, nice transition into the mids, no bleed. The pin again is fine, like I said. Peaks at about 2.2, 2.3K, and then it stabilizes itself across more or less, you know, from there onwards, although you have those little small dips and peaks, which I'll show you in the graph. The 100 Hertz point corresponds to about, where we go. The 100 Hertz point corresponds to about 1.85, 1.9, which isn't ideal, but somehow it all works. It just comes all together nicely, and it does work, and it does sound good. The little retune that I did compensates slightly for that peak, makes the peak then happen slightly later at just over 2K, which is what I prefer, like I've said many times before. And ultimately that's the one, you know, that I would use personally myself, but this is neither here or there. This is what the IEM sounds like in its stock format, and in its stock format, you know, it sounds good. It sounds really good. It's not my one that has changed any. My tip has just adapted it to my personal taste. Like I said before, I would have liked maybe that tip to have been available, and who knows, maybe HiDIZS might contemplate it. But anyway, continuing here with what matters. So, female vocals a little bit more forward than usually seen. Let's put it that way. A little bit more forward, but nicely done. It's got that nice weight coming from behind from the bass that doesn't make them shout or sound unnecessarily forward. Male vocals, really good. I actually think the male vocals are perhaps the star of the show. Although the female vocals are clean and detailed, the male vocals I actually think works better. Plenty of detail past that. Twinklies and sparklies up top could have been a little bit more, but nothing that's a deal breaker in any way. It's got a decent sized soundstage with the white nozzle. The soundstage is a little bit bigger. The imaging is a little bit bigger. The detail retrieval is also a little bit better, more precise. But again, like I said, not huge differences. And when you start, you know, putting into the table and considering the negative and the positives of all of those little nuances here and there, I still think that the black nozzle is the one that makes the most sense. Okay. Timbre and tonality, spot on in my opinion, perfect. Nothing to be said there. Loved it. It's honestly spot on. Soundstage, imaging, I would say soundstage probably the better of those two, although not much in it, but definitely timbre and tonality, soundstage, imaging, and then detail retrieval and macro and micro details in that order, and not with huge differences between them. So technically it's a capable IEM, it's a musical IEM. I think the takeaway here from this, and much like in the case of the MK12, although I even think the MK12 is more musical than the MK10, the MK10 has been tuned in a manner that it's not forgetting the technical aspect of the side of things. It's not forgetting those that are technically inclined, and here the nozzles do play a part in that, but it's a musical IEM, and I'm so happy that we see more and more brands worrying about being musical and not just making the IEM sound like a graph because it's what the graph is supposed to, blah, 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 blah. No. It has to be musical, and hell yes, it's musical. It's definitely musical. It's a fun, engaging, entertaining IM to listen to. I went through a whole bunch of different styles of genres, from jazz, which is what I like listening the most to pop, to EDM, to some dub. I listen to everything. The only thing I don't listen to often, here and there, yes, is rock, and even that I listen to some stuff. Um, Honestly, I cannot fault it. Yes, there was the occasional song where I would have liked a little bit more detail up top. Let me give you an example of one. Let me see. Twilight by Brian Simpson. A little bit extra detail up top would have been nice. Comfort Zone, the live version, a little bit more soundstage would have been nice as well. From Dusk Till Dawn, phenomenal song, especially that intro where the bass is hitting really, really good. The MK10 there definitely shows how good its driver and its tuning has been done. Sidestepping from Larry Carlton, again, phenomenal song. Clandestine by Dominic Miller, another phenomenal song. Ease Your Mind by Darius, really, really nicely executed. Ordinary Love by Sade, a little bit more soundstage would have been nice, but I mean, nothing that is a deal breaker anyway. Hotel California by the Eagles, phenomenal, really, really good. That does it beautifully, in my opinion. Beautifully, in my opinion. Mind you, and let me just make a little side note here. With the nozzle that I retuned, all of what I said is maintained and sounds even better. Okay. What else? Let me see. I Will Remember by Toto. Really, really nice. Really nice. It's capable of conveying all the grandeur of that song. Let's put it that way. And convey it in a nice, realistic manner. Okay. So I think it's like I was saying earlier, musical. Very, very musical. Okay. Now, let's then give a quick and brief comparison here with what I brought out, which was the Himalaya and the SIMGOT, the EA500. Okay, let me just see where it is. Where it is. Yes, okay, I know where it is now. All right. Compared with the Himalaya, it's basically got the same, with the black nozzle, it's basically got the same sort of sound. I would say that the Himalaya only edges it out by having a larger soundstage, by having a more spacious soundstage. It is not a huge difference. And the fact that we have an IEM here, which is half the price of the Himalaya, giving much of the same performance of the Himalaya, I think that in itself shows how capable and how competent the MK10 is. They, like I said, share the same sort of tuning. They have the adjustable nozzles. There's also a nozzle I did for the Himalaya, which in my opinion has significantly improved its performance. It becomes way better, way better. And that would have been one of the nozzles that, again, it would have been nice to have seen Nice HK or apply it or introduce it or do it. But hey, look, it is what it is. They do their own thing. But what I can basically say, and so that you understand, it's got, if you liked the Himalaya, okay, this is for those of you that like the Himalaya. You guys, if you like the Himalaya, okay, you will definitely like the MK10, period. As for the SIMGOT, the EA500 LM, it's a different tuning. Okay, yes, the SIMGOT, you could say it's got the more kind of harmony style of tune. It's got a style of tune which is very kind of oxygen style, Tanstrom oxygen style of tune, more maybe even Moondrop VDSF style tuning. But where it matters, in my opinion, it's there. And the LM, the 500 LM, some people consider it to be overly clinical, overly bright, and I think it all depends on what nozzle you're using and how the tip, the nozzle, and your ear interact with each other. In my particular case, I've got absolutely nothing to say about nothing but good things to say about the EA500 LM. It just works very well in my ear. And the biggest difference I saw between the LM and the MK10 was the LM had a slightly larger soundstage, okay, ever so slightly larger soundstage, and a slightly more delayed female vocal. So the female vocals are not as forward. And what all that does is just makes the female vocals a little bit more balanced out with the way that the tuning has been done. That's it. Otherwise, they sound very similar. And again, I think that's a testament to how good the MK10 is. This has been, for the longest period of time, for me at least, one of the references in the single DD IM and the $100. Okay, yes, SimGod has got a very countless other phenomenal IMs, the EW300, but as a single DD, this I think is one of the best IMs that they make out of all of them. EW200, all that. The EA500 LM and even the original EA500 are absolute beasts of IMs. And I think the formula that they use here, which was have a properly designed shell, properly tuned, and a good quality driver, is exactly what the HiDIZS has done here with the MK10. They've taken a properly designed shell, they've chosen a proper driver, and they've tuned it properly. And that's why it sounds so good. That's why it's so competent, and that's why it's so musical. I would even say that on occasions, this is perhaps even a little bit more musical than the 500 LM. But otherwise, honestly, these are probably going to be two of the top 5 IMs without question. The Puller Unicron being another one that definitely is going to be there in those top 5. The Delci AE, again, another one of those top 5. Definitely those 4 IMs are going to be top 5s, and you cannot really go wrong with any one of them. That's the reality. You cannot. It will all come down to how they fit in your ear, what price you can get them from. That's it. That's the reality. They are all really, really good IMs. Anyway, guys, I'll just quickly show you the graphs and we'll wrap it up. Okay guys, so this is the HiDIZS with the black nozzle, with the red nozzle, and with the white nozzle. As in you can see, the red and the black are basically the same, no difference. Left and right channel are perfect as well. And then the white nozzle gives a little bit extra detail up here and there, and basically the rest is the same. And because it gives a little bit more detail there, the pin again is later, and that's it. That's basically it. Okay. Overall, the one that I think makes the most sense, except, well, besides my particular one, is the black or the red. It's the same. 100 hertz point, as you can see, corresponds to about 1.8. The amount of energy that you have there is more than enough to compensate for the amount of energy that you have above there, so things kind of get themselves balanced out. It's not a bass monster, no, definitely, but the bass that is there is clean, it's detailed, it's got enough weight, enough impact, really solid. Just for the sake of you guys seeing what I did was, let me just make this in red so it's more visible and you guys can understand. I did a small little retune on the red nozzle, and that's how my red nozzle is. Okay, it's very similar. I'm using the KB07 as well, very similar, just delayed. Okay, the pina also, that's allowed for the 100 hertz point there to correspond to about 2 kilohertz now, which is better, and it just works. It just works really nice. It's just that subtle little change that I think really, in my particular case, brings out the full potential of the MK10. Okay, this now, as I said, I compared it just with 2 IMs. I compared it here with the SimGod EA500 LM, which I'm placing up now. And as you can see, they are almost identical. A lot of the things are very identical. A little bit of the difference here, okay, and a little bit of a difference there as well. More soundstage, a little bit bigger soundstage, but very similar. Especially in the whole bass department, up to, I would say, up to about 1.5. They are, I can't distinguish them. Honestly, I really cannot distinguish them. They are really that competent. And the other one is the nice HTK, the Himalaya, like I said as well. Again, the Himalaya probably even more similar, more so in terms of how the bass is, the peaks, where they happen, where they occur, the dips, everything. And again, a little bit more detail up top in terms of extension of soundstage, size of imaging. That's it. Otherwise, guys, there's really not much more I can say. It's a well-tuned IM, it's well-designed, priced good. MK10, have a listen, check it out, and decide for yourself. Okay, as always, like and subscribe. Take care.